Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Shravanam Diaries Podcast.
Bhagavad Gita as it is, the book by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness, Text 12. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim ayukta kama karyena phale sakto nibadhyate. The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the result of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. Wow. Purport. The difference between a person in Krishna consciousness and a person in bodily consciousness is that the former is attached to Krishna, whereas the latter is attached to the results of his activities. The person who is attached to Krishna and works for him only is certainly a liberated person, and he has no anxiety over the results of his work. Oh, that's so nice. In the Bhagavatam, the cause of anxiety over the result of an activity is explained as being once functioning in the conception of duality, that is, without knowledge of the absolute truth. The cause of anxiety over the result, because we're not functioning in the conception of the absolute truth, because we're functioning in the conception of duality. That's why we're anxious. Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. In Krishna consciousness, there is no duality. All that exists is a product of Krishna's energy, and Krishna is all good. Therefore, activities in Krishna consciousness are on the absolute plane. They are transcendental and have no material effect. One is therefore filled with peace in Krishna consciousness. But one who is entangled in profit calculation for sense gratification cannot have that peace. Profit calculation. Oh my God. Right. We can't be peaceful if we're constantly anxious with the profit calculation, anxiety over the result, being greedy of that concept of duality. I'm a failure or I'm a winner. I'm a winner, I'm a loser, I'm a failure or I'm a success. That's why we have anxiety. Oh, I'm a loser. Oh, I'm a failure. I don't want to be a failure. Yeah. This is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Realization that there is no existence besides Krishna is the platform of peace and fearlessness. Oh, this is such a powerful statement. Let's read this again. This is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Realization that there is no existence besides Krishna is the platform of peace and fearlessness. When we realize that there is no existence besides Krishna, then we're on the platform of peace and fearlessness. Let me mark this verse. I also want to memorize this one. Wow. Text 13. Sarvakarmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi neva kurvan nakarayan. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. Purport. The embodied soul lives in the city of 9 gates. The activities of the body, or the figurative city of body, are conducted automatically by its particular modes of nature. The soul, although subjecting himself to the conditions of the body, can be beyond those conditions if he so desires. This is such a powerful statement. We are within this material body, within the city of 9 gates. Later on, it will be described what are those 9 gates. And we are subjected to the conditions of the body. But if we so desire, we can be beyond these conditions. Just let that sink in. Reading next. Owing only to forgetfulness of his superior nature, he identifies with the material body and therefore suffers. Just because we identify, we suffer. By Krishna consciousness, he can revive his real position and thus come out of his embodiment. Therefore, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, one at once becomes completely aloof from bodily activities. In such a controlled life, in which his deliberations are changed, he lives happily within the city of 9 gates. The 9 gates are mentioned as follows. Navadvare pure dehi hamsole layate bahi vashi sarvasya lokasya sthavarasya charasya cha. Quote, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is living within the body of a living entity, is the controller of all living entities all over the universe. The body consists of 9 gates: 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 1 mouth, the anus and the genitals. The living entity in his conditioned stage, identifies himself with the body, but when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord, even while in the body. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.18. Therefore, a Krishna-conscious person is free from both the outer and inner activities of the material body. Text 14. Next verses are gonna blow your mind. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Purport. The living entity, as will be explained in the 7th chapter, is one of the energies or natures of the Supreme Lord, but is distinct from matter, which is another nature, called inferior, of the Lord. Somehow, the superior nature, the living entity, has been in contact with material nature since time immemorial. The contemporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. Living in such a conditional atmosphere, one suffers the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of bodily suffering and distress. As soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. As long as he is in the city of the body, he appears to be the master of it, but actually he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reactions. He is simply in the midst of the material ocean, struggling for existence. The waves of the ocean are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all turmoil. I really like this verse. I remember it from Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, who quoted it from 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that the spirit soul, I need to find that verse, the spirit soul is like crippled by this material body. When we identify ourselves with this material body, we, who are supposed to be superior nature, who are supposed to be as free, fearless, and transcendental as part and parcel of the Lord, we become this helpless creature which are being tossed in the waves of this material ocean, and we're like, oh, I'm a piece of garbage, or worse, right? And I am like useless, I'm disgusting, I'm a failure, I'm a loser. Or we're a winner, we're a champion, my friend, for a particular amount of time, and then again we go back and forth, up and down, constantly under the sway of the modes of material nature. But as soon as we remember, all of this is because of ignorance, just ignorance. But as soon as we transcend it by Krishna consciousness, we're immediately saved. Okay. Let's read the last verse for today. Text 15. Naddate kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu agyanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. So in the previous verse, it was established that the spirit soul does not create activities, nor does it induce people to act or create the fruits of action, right? what we are so proud of, the result we can bring, we don't create actually. And here it says that the Supreme Lord, He doesn't assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Okay, purport. The Sanskrit word Vibhu means the Supreme Lord, who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. He is always satisfied in Himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. He does not create a particular situation for any living entity, but the living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we should really stop blaming God in all of our problems, in our own problems. Unless we are a pure devotee who is guided by the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord takes care of us, like personally, like we should really stop claiming to... Oh, I have a very, very important phone call. Okay, we don't do this usually, but we're going to stop in the middle of the purport, and we shall continue tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in today. The book links, previous episodes timeline, and biography of the author can be found on shravanamdiaries.com. The link is in the description, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.